Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing great. Before I start today's episode, I want to remind everyone that our fitness app, Drive Fitness, is available on the Google Play and Apple App Store. I have recently created some workout programs that I can share with anyone on the app. So if you are interested in following one of our Drive Fitness workout programs, please let me know and I will send it over your way. The video version of today's episode is also available on our Patreon page. So if you want to support us on Patreon, you can watch today's episode on video. Today's guest is Frank Marazzo. I went to visit Frank in October when we recorded his previous episode. Frank is currently studying to be a therapist. If you have not listened to our first episode, I would definitely recommend listening to that one first. Since I didn't know the next time I would see Frank, we kind of hung out afterwards and recorded this episode just for fun. A lot of my episodes, they're pretty focused on a discipline or at least a specific topic. But in this episode, me and Frank are just kind of hanging out after we recorded our more serious episode and just chatting about life. So it is very interesting, but if you want more of an official introduction to Frank and what he is currently studying, I would definitely recommend you go listen to his previous episode first. But like I mentioned, in this episode, Frank and I are just kind of hanging out, having a good time, so don't go into this with too high of expectations. We discuss life, technology, the future, current problems that are facing our society, things like social media and evolution, all sorts of stuff are kind of wrapped up. Also, we had just listened to the Joe Rogan and Kanye West podcasts. It had come out that day, and that was kind of fresh in our minds. So that kind of gets brought up a lot in today's episode. But hey, I mean, we captured the moment, and that's what was going on in that moment for us, guys. Oh, also, it was before the election, so we kind of, things, yeah. October 2020, that's when it was. Time's weird. Also, Frank is the one who makes our theme music. So thank you, Frank, for making this beautiful theme song. Enjoy, guys.
I've always wanted to get comfortable on camera. Nowadays, I feel like that's such a crucial thing. If you really want to either build your own business or do anything kind of entrepreneurial, you have to learn that skill, just to make little content or promote anything that you're doing. It's such a crucial thing. And just public speaking in general. Something I need to practice more.
Yeah, I've always given any type of content creating at least a shot.
Yeah.
I've made some music, basically made sure that's not for me, right? I mean, you and me went down the music rabbit hole about a year ago, and it just didn't work out, and that's fine. I obviously have found a different medium that I enjoy more. You have to try. You have to give that a try, see if you like it. I would make YouTube videos in high school and shit.
Going back.
Trying to make little funny videos or trick shot videos or whatever.
The little water tossing bottle.
I've tried writing some. I've tried writing stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy one time.
Oh, I remember that.
I didn't really give stand-up comedy a good enough chance, but I don't know. That shit does take fucking balls, dude.
I could never do that. I would love to because it's cool as shit, but it sounds so nerve-wracking.
For real. And I swear, I think if I knew about podcasting in high school, I probably would have started one. That shit would have been so dope to see me go from high school to here. But then, yeah, so this is new, and I gave this one a shot, and this is by far my favorite. Oh, app development. That's content creation.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn, you literally tried everything.
I never paint pictures or visual artists.
Graphic design, shit like that.
I didn't put too much into beat production or a musical instrument on its own. But I've tried a lot of internet content.
Yeah.
Creating.
Actually, though,
this one is so my favorite by far, dude.
That's awesome.
What have you thought about today? And
I fucking love it. It's cool because it's definitely scary in the moment because you really have to be paying attention, aware of maybe something you just said that I could build on. If I have some idea that I really want to expand on, making sure you express it well, you can understand what I'm saying. There's a lot to it, and I think it's a skill that I can really see that takes a lot to master. But the idea of it is just, it's fucking awesome. Because you don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say this whole time, you know?
So simple too. We do it. It's like
We're just chilling.
it's like slight different than a normal conversation. So we do it all the time, but this is like it's an
Just
art
a little
form
aware, you
of
know?
like a slight difference, you know?
Yeah. Because you're trying to like not make it forced in that sense, but that awareness is there. You know, this might go somewhere or whatever it is.
Because there's cameras and mics, and we understand that this is going to be watched a second time. It's like a filter falls over, not just visually, but like the way you feel about it.
Extra little awareness about things, you know, every little thing that you do, you know, kind of the way you say things. It's cool because it really makes you aware of stuff you might not have paid attention to before. You know, it's exhausting. Definitely see that. It's just like constant, what should I be thinking about? You know, it's just an extra push to be like, I should be focusing on something important right now, you know, which I mean, I think we should have that at least a little bit every day, you know, just something that forces you to focus on something. That's kind of all this does really, you know, just like, all right, let me just actually see what I can do, you know, what I can focus on.
I think it's meditational or something. They say try to live in the present moment. This forces you to. This moment is a moment. We're recording this moment. This is not just this moment. I'm like, it's like you're moving through time or something. It's not just this moment. It's a month from now when I rewatch this.
Yeah.
That I'm at, like right now I'm at a computer sitting back watching you and me talking. It's like I'm at 2 moments.
That's so weird.
Or if you're going to watch it, maybe how many times do you think you're going to watch this? Maybe 3 times. Okay, this is like 4 different moments for you.
You're a different feeling every time you watch it. Might see it just a little bit differently.
I personally, these are episodes that I'm in, right? I would never listen to another podcast like how many times. Probably like around the 5th time, 6th time. I'm like, okay, this is boring. I know exactly what both of us are going to say.
No, word for word.
Yeah. I did put on Blake's episode to remind myself how I was asking him about his discipline. And then as soon as it came on, I was like, oh, I've heard this so many times. Actually, I don't need to hear this.
Good on this.
This one, I know it happened. I'm very aware of that.
It was a thing.
Conversation now. We are like splitting time at the moment. We're existing in this moment so hard it's like quadrupled, I guess, or at least doubled. You'll at least watch this once. So,
dude, that makes me. You know that Black Mirror episode? They get like frozen in time doing something. That's such a weird concept. It's kind of scary, especially the way they use it in Black Mirror. But because it's like torturing infinitely or something, it's kind of fucked up. But I just don't understand time. Like when you say it like that, because it's like we actually do, like we are going to do that, you know. And thinking about that, that's just weird.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing that I'm doing this as like a real adult, because I mean that would be crazy if there was just full length 3-hour videos of you and your 18-year-old self
That would be so
sitting
bad,
around
dude.
Wampler like saying that shit.
No, nobody needs to see that.
Yeah,
Please.
maybe it should be like alcohol or something. You got to be 21 or you got to be 25 to like start.
You ain't ready to podcast yet. It's not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, teenagers are allowed to post pictures and shit and like little TikToks on the internet, but that keeps
Look
them.
what happens though.
Yeah, it keeps them within a short little continuum. You don't want 4 hours of your 12-year-old saying whatever the fuck they want to on the internet.
I feel like every 10 seconds you just say something stupid. Like at that age, you know? Like I still say a lot of stupid shit now, but compared to like 18 or 15, I mean, I would hope it improved a little bit. But it's crazy that there are kids now that are super young posting ridiculous shit with no idea of that consequence. Like we kind of have an understanding at this point. I remember my mom was always like, don't post pictures you drink in. You know, you got to think about future jobs and how you appear online. But I didn't really understand that until I got older. And you see like somebody get dug something up from 8 years ago and now they're fucking canceled, or that shit does live on. It's crazy. You got to be aware of that shit.
Do you think the standard of like what's embarrassing and what's weird is just going to change though?
Definitely does.
All these kids are just being stupid on the internet. They're all going to grow up, and then they're not going to be that. And like as a generation, they're just going to be like, nah.
We all said stupid shit.
Yeah. It's probably just going to be fine.
I think so.
I don't know.
I feel like this is kind of the worst wave of it. It kind of started, people are getting mad about real fucked up shit that people are saying. And then it got turned into, if you said anything fucked up ever in your entire life, you're done, which is, I think we've all done stupid shit in our lives, not justifying a lot of crazy shit that people have said, but like people do change a lot, and it's so hard to judge somebody off one little snippet, but we all do it. If that was me, I'd be like, like that, I've done so much outside of that, that's the one thing, that's all I am in that person's mind or the public's mind, whatever it is.
That's why it's like too late to go back. So you just got to load it with more. That's why a podcast can like help you out. If you're a big podcaster, you say something dumb, at least your core fan's going to have thousands of other hours of content to be like, okay, but we know that he's pretty competent. If we're going to be on the internet, we might as well be up there in more of a podcast form instead of tweets and pictures. And
yeah, it is a more genuine medium. Text, you don't get that emotion. Even, videos can get taken out of context, but like you said, that 3-hour format, if you watch it all the way through, it's hard to not get what that person's saying, unless it's Kanye, then it might be a little confusing.
Yeah. Now you brought him up, I'll say, if anyone is listening to this in the future, today's the day Kanye dropped his podcast with Joe Rogan. I was debating, I was like, we could spend the whole night picking apart random pieces of that and just going on.
Each little snippet, that could be an hour conversation in itself.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to veer us back towards our own convo, but I honestly wouldn't care if we ended up just talking about that shit for a while, because
that's a rabbit hole.
It inspires a lot of thoughts, man. It's really interesting.
He's definitely an inspiring dude, though. He got me thinking, like, damn, you can fucking do anything if you just keep grinding on that shit.
Yeah, let's circle back to him. You were talking about the internet, and we were talking about putting podcasts up.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the inception of the internet, we were like a baby in that Childish Gambino album, Because of the Internet. The guy who's analyzing it is talking about how he's like comparing the internet to like a baby, you know what I'm saying? Because it's new, and that was in 2010. And so now we're kind of like some preteen kind of awkward phase.
That's
at the
true.
moment.
That makes so much sense, actually. Because
that was 10 years ago, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Because you can see we're kind of at a weird point where memes are starting to kind of get overused and just ridiculous. Everything's just kind of turning into either like political battles. What was once a very, not solid structure, but like we were kind of discovering what it was. Now it's kind of solidifying in that, but it's also not, I don't know, it's in a weird place. I don't think it's being used for its best potential, if that makes sense.
I think that it has a bad effect on people's mental health, right? But
God damn.
Do you think we're just going to get over this? Like, this is like a moment in the history of the internet. Things got a little weird, uncomfortable for a while. COVID, like, really heightened that, and we'll, like, bounce back from this? Or do you think, in general, like, where do you think things are headed? Considering the relationship between technology and, like, mental health.
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Because as bad as things get, there's always something deep down that is just, there's some hope there. There's some vision of, there's some potential that somehow we can figure this shit out, because we have crazy technology. We have geniuses out there. It's not that we can't fix this shit. We're just so wrapped up in so much bullshit that we can't even have basic conversations about this shit. And there's so much that needs to be done. If we can't even talk to people anymore because shit's so intense, everybody's kind of nudged into their one side at this point, that it's going to get bad, really bad. But I think there is a potential out of that. They say it gets worse before it gets better.
So you're saying we're not through the worst of it?
I don't think so. It feels like a lot of things that have been building for a long time are all coming together at once. You know, we got our environmental crisis, political, economics. It's just like so much is hitting that has always been there. But, you know, with COVID, it kind of forced us into, oh, we have to deal with all these things. We're just sitting around. Everybody's not as focused on the day to day. We can take that step back and it's like, oh shit, how did we get here? You know, it just kind of started that push. And I think it's going to keep eventually hit that point. I don't know what that is, but there's too much potential out there for there not to be some sort of way, you know? And that could just be stupid optimism, but like that, I can't go on if I don't feel like that. You know, it's like, what's the point if I just feel like it's all just going to get fucked? And it might, but I like to have some hope that it's not.
No, I love optimism. I think that
I hope.
I'm optimistic too. I do think you're probably right that it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better.
I really don't want to say that. Everything in me wants to feel like, all right, we hit it, you know, we're going to come back. But like, there's just so much anger and so many emotions that are just building. And it just seems like nobody is talking to each other right now because everything's so divided that I just don't see basic things getting fixed when they need to. And there's dire things that need to be fixed, you know? But we're going to be forced to deal with it eventually. And that's the point where it's either like we're fucked or everybody's like, we got to fix this shit. Because that's kind of the point we're at, you know? It's either we're fucked or we have to do something. And we can do it, but like, we got to start fucking doing it, you know?
Yeah.
We can't procrastinate on this shit.
I have a lot of thoughts. Another reason I'm being quiet is I'm trying to pick which one to jump on.
I just dropped a lot.
One quick thought is I think leaning into the internet is the only option. Unfortunately, yeah. I think that like we're too far in. And it's crazy because we didn't even have to invent the internet. We didn't even have to. We just did. It wasn't like inevitable, but we did do it. And now you can't just like delete Facebook,
no.
like the company, you know what I'm saying? And things in Google, it's so far gone that we have to be optimistic and hopeful and go further in.
Yeah.
Record longer podcasts, be more on the internet, be so on the internet that you are just your full self. Like, so there's no confusion. Because right now, there's so much confusion. Who are you? Are you your Twitter personality, your Instagram personality, your Snapchat personality, your real personality, or your OnlyFans personality, or your TikTok personality? Because they're all a little bit different. Because every personality molds to that platform.
Style, yeah.
However it was designed and whatever. And even worse, you can pick a platform, fall in love with it through years of updates. It's not even the same platform, but you're already in there.
Instagram.
Too late. We have all these different weird personalities depending on what platform you're on. Even your messaging, your text messages with iPhones, it's like its own little platform.
Yeah, everybody texts a little bit differently. Has their own style.
Yeah, you have a style to your text messages. You have a style to your Snapchats. You know, you have a style to your FaceTimes. You have a style to the Facebook posts that go out to your whole family. You know,
that's true.
The Instagram post, that's the classic photo meant for like college and high school friends. The Snapchats to your girlfriend. They
each have kind of a purpose, or, you know.
The group chats. It's all confusing to us to kind of be split in all these different personalities that we have. COVID kind of lit a fire under the ass because it took away more of our real personality. So we need the only way to get it all to connect, you got to push your real personality so far into the internet that you're just there. Podcasting is a huge leap as far as how you're being perceived in an internet format. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
And then it's like, boom, get as much on there as possible. And that's why Neuralink and that shit is going to actually be a thing. We're all just going to beam up there. That way.
This could be wild.
There's just maybe just two. Maybe we're there or we're here, you know?
Oh, God.
And they're very similar. They're not like two different people again, all of a sudden, or whatever, you know?
I like kind of understand Neuralink, like the basics, but I don't fully.
Okay, I'll give you an overview. I love Neuralink, so this will be a good tangent. Remember when we were talking about like the Internet of Minds with Blake? And we found it like really interesting because me and Blake were trying to figure out where technology's heading. When you're in the conversation, we're trying to figure out where humanity is like evolving, like psychologically.
Yeah.
And business is always a component of like, okay, where's business heading? And they all seem to converge on their truest innovative kind of path towards like a telepathic connection between humans. Basically, literally the best example I can have to like explain it is like the Rick and Morty episode where he dates that whole planet, and she is like one being. And so that sounds like some fantasy shit, but here's Elon Musk being like, "I'm working on it," and we're like, "Really?" And he's like, "I put a chip in the brain of a pig. He's telepathic," but we're just like, "What does that mean?" Like, you know,
what the fuck?
He's not telepathic, but it's a chip that's helping things. Okay, so that was a little silly, but let me take I'm going to go on a little bit back up of a tangent.
Yeah.
In general, I've noticed with big, innovative people like Elon and other entrepreneurs that have big goals, they do find a good way of having milestone goals that will make them money along their way to their big goal. So one of Neuralink's milestones is they're going to start putting it in people's brains, and it's going to help people who have Alzheimer's.
Crazy.
And certain like disorders like that, probably mostly with like aging brain processes, probably slow them down a lot, right? And
That's
so
sick.
They developed a device. They started testing on pigs that actually go into people's brains. So for like a while, it's gonna just help understand the brain and like fix little problems with the brain. But then eventually, the point is to like merge with AI, sync up to the internet, and that has a whole bunch of implications. That's where things like being telepathic kind of come into play. It's like what
terrifying.
It's almost impossible to imagine what that even is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But apparently the technology is probably a couple decades in our lifetime.
It's terrifying.
When we're like 45.
Dude, that's literally Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Like everything that's like you watch something and you're like, would that ever be a thing? Like that's something that I'm like, there's no way that'll be a thing soon, you know?
Yeah.
But with Elon, he's pretty fucking good at what he does.
Yeah.
When he sets his mind to something, God damn, that man does it.
Yeah. I mean, it might put you out of business, right? If you have depression, they might just put a chip in your head and then you don't.
Yeah. I think we're all out of business in like 30 years. Half the world will be underwater. It's fine. Hopefully at that point, we'll figure out some universal income shit or something. You know, I just feel like there's so many systems that are possible to adapt to all this. Because like you were saying, AI and all that shit is going to change so many things. And we're going to have to slowly kind of transition that automation where people aren't just fucked. Because it could really happen where a lot of people are just destroyed. And I mean, the corporations are just like, this is way cheaper for us. Why the fuck would we keep paying you guys? It makes sense from a business standpoint, but like, you know, gotta think of the people too.
What's wild is like we're becoming like cyborgs. We're no longer Homo sapiens. We're now Homo evolutus. We have the power to evolve ourselves the way we want to our own desires. That's what we were saying. Like the internet didn't have to exist. We now can put chips in our brains and have telepathic powers, or bioengineer some wings on us and fly, or like we could engineer a car on our shoes, on our feet, and like, you know, like
that's
like
sick.
The engineering capabilities are about to like, we're about to be a different thing than we were.
Oh yeah,
very soon. Like we're gonna see the little glimmer of it in our lives, but it's gonna go off and do something.
I feel like
different.
we're at the beginning of an exponential curve. Every year we see such dramatic changes. Every 20 years we see crazy changes. But the next 20 years are going to be, the last 20 years aren't going to be shit compared to that. The differences are just going to exponentially outdo it every single time. By the time our grandkids are growing up, I can't imagine what that shit's going to be. Shit's changing pretty fucking fast. It's hard to keep up, man.
It's hard to keep up.
It's fucking stressful. That's one of the worst and best things, that consumeristic design pushes innovation in a sense, but it also, you're never satisfied with anything. You know, I get a new fucking beat machine. I love it. The next 6 months, a 10 times better one comes out. I'm like, fuck, if I just waited a little bit, you know? New iPhone comes out, new laptop. There's always going to be something better. And there's always that feeling of like, I just don't have it, you know? You always want that next thing. But that's, I mean, just being alive, I guess, always wanting more. I don't know if it's just necessarily like technology. Could just be human nature.
We're animals.
At the end of the day, we really are. You know, we just do the same shit over and over habitually, but we can think about things. That's what's cool. That's what gives us our power.
Can other animals think about things?
I don't know. I've always wondered that. I guess we don't really know. We just assume because, like, look, we built all this shit. We can think and process. They could just be like, we just didn't feel like doing that, you know?
I had a thought about the way other things think. Good God.
I know what you mean, though.
So this is my thought. If we can connect all of our minds and have a hive brain, we can start communicating with dogs. Be like, what are they thinking? Figure out how to like communicate. And they're just like, hey, what's up, man? Like, can you feed me? Can you take me on a walk? Like, I don't know. Maybe they have something.
That would be crazy.
That's just our like man's best friend, right? Then we can communicate with like dolphins. And they're like, what's up? We're super smart. We just knew it was more fun to chill in the water. Like, y'all seem all like stressed out. Like,
hey, you guys are always running around.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we're super intelligent. Please don't kill us anymore. But yeah, we're having a hell.
See us? We're not harming the earth, you fuckers. Like, my bad.
Like, apparently, dolphins fuck a bunch. You know what I'm saying? They're just living in the water, having sex.
Just chilling.
They got it figured out. Like, they literally did.
It's weird. It's interesting because our whole conversation kind of reminds me of this class I took at JMU, actually. And he was talking about ancient hunter-gatherer ancestors. They would just bang all fucking day. That's all they would do. Mm-hmm. It was such a different like mindset around that back then. It wasn't a mindset. They were just fucking living. The difference between now, there's so much pressure around it. There's so much doubt with a lot of people. It's like just such a natural thing has changed so much in our evolution. Mm-hmm. Just the way that we handle it. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. That's just what we do. Why do we make it so weird? You know? Why is sex such a like hush hush? Just sex. I don't know how I got there, but
I like what you just said, but remember how I told you I was a bad listener?
Dude, I've just been going off.
No, you have. I liked what you said, but
it's a lot.
I was also in my own head. I was still thinking about dolphins.
Just banging all the time.
So I want to like steer the conversation back my way aggressively because
I'm not against it.
Yeah. So my next thought was,
as we proceed,
basically we figure out that eventually we can communicate with plants.
Ooh.
And then we found out plants are already like a hive mind because like the way their membrane shaped or whatever, I don't understand it, but they just have like one like universal hive mind already. Because like plants,
smart as fuck.
Plants seem to like communicate with each other through like soil and all sorts of shit. Like they like pass nutrients to plants that need it. They live in nations and like families and communities, and you know what I'm saying?
Insane, dude.
And so then we figure out plants in general, like that whole side of life is like Mother Earth, and she's like a thing. It's like a second person. And now, guess what? It's hive mind human, hive mind Mother Earth.
Oh shit!
And guess what? Now we're Adam and Eve again. Boom! The whole cycle starts over.
How do I process that? What?
You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process.
It is a lot to process.
But it makes sense.
But it makes perfect sense. Philosophically.
Oh my God. You know, it goes back to that whole idea of this being a spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. They always talk about it, finding that connection again. Mm-hmm. We had it once, you know, back in the day when it wasn't overcomplicated by all this. Uh-huh. It was just simple. We were connected to everything around us. We were just surviving, you know, and now it's like we have the potential to, like, we've forgotten that in a sense. Uh-huh. You know, the way that we act towards just the earth in general, how we do things and don't even think twice about it. We've just become so detached from that. This gives us an opportunity to be reminded of like, oh, this is real. Mm-hmm. This is important, because we've seriously lost that. And it's like, how? That is who we are. Like, this is a part of like we don't just get to live in this fancy place outside of the earth. You've kind of separated from that, you know? We don't feel that connection to it anymore. It's like we're humans. We can do whatever the fuck we want because we're like super smart and shit. Really, we're just fucking ourselves because we're too arrogant.
Yeah.
That's a Sublime song.
I guess we're on like the very tail end of a really big evolutionary cycle. Life in general, it grows in these cycles, right? And now, let's say we do all become a hive mind, then right now we're all just like cells that are about to like form into a bigger unit. In our bodies, there's a bunch of smaller systems, of course. That's how life, it grows like that, you know? Like we have cells, they're all just chilling in our body. Now we're all going to become microbiology of this next thing, and it's just overwhelming.
Shit, that makes so much sense.
Now we're all like, oh, freaking out and shit. Like, what's going on?
It's gonna be good, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
See, it's shit like that where there really is hope, you know? Because that feeling is that you know, Kanye's talking about intuition. That I thrive off that too. Like, I think a lot of creative people do. I can definitely see it's that in the moment you just go based off what you feel. That's what that feeling has always been. There's something really fucked up, but there's also something we can do about it. I don't know what that is, but then when you break shit down like that, it's like, oh, that's like a tangible, like that could make insane change. Like that could actually do that shit, you know? Which is cool because it kind of sucks when you just like, oh, we're fucked. That's not a good place to be. But it's easy to be there.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it generates hope, right? It generates meaning.
You know it's there. It's you remember that conversation, I think it might have been just me and you at Blake's house, where we were talking about that feeling of like, there's just something wrong. We don't know what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to put a name on it, identify it.
Yeah.
But something's off, you know? I think we're seeing it now. It's all coming out.
This is what was all it's exposed, yeah.
Which is scary,
yeah,
because it's that darkness coming out.
It's so weird. It's like we're all like animals and the storm's coming and we're getting all stressed out and full of anxiety.
You can feel
and like
it.
a human might just be like, bro, it's just like a thunderstorm, you'll be fine. But we're like, why are we worried, you know?
What is coming?
Yeah, what is this? Thunder, what is this? What, you know, it's just like we don't know and we can't comprehend essentially what we're going through.
No. It's so nice to honestly just hear you say that, because we all feel it. It's that general consciousness where everybody's just a little off, a little stressed, a little on edge. And it's just like, why? I know in my daily life, I'm like, oh, I have all this stresses me out. But there's just something extra, you know, something that no matter how much I figure out and deal with, that's just unshakable. It's like, what is that, you know?
Yo, remember when you said that sometimes you bottle things up and then you let them out? I feel like as a society, maybe we've all felt that sense of anxiety for the past like 5 years. And
it's happening.
But then 2020 was the year where we just let it out.
Everything.
And it gives a good excuse to kind of start your attitude with life, because you're like, 2020 sucks. And then you like talk about all the other things that have been bugging you for the past decade. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, I hate this too.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Because that's all we've just been sitting around realizing, oh, wait, this is bad, actually. I should care about that, you know? I've been needing to deal with this, and now I have nothing else distracting me, so I have to deal with that now. Fuck.
Yeah. It's like, instead of coming together and like really uniting against this problem, all right, end of the world. Let's get all this shit off my chest before we all go down.
I feel like that, though.
It's just wild.
It's actually, it's crazy you say that, because this past week, I've just had this feeling of every day there's almost a little more fear, but there's also a moment every day where there's also, I need to appreciate every fucking moment. Like just a slightly deeper appreciation for what I have and what's actually going on. And it's nice just to have, you know, as much as shit is getting crazy, we're forced to realize like, oh, we have to deal with this, and this matters. That's why we have to care about this, you know? This life's actually pretty fucking cool.
Preach, Frank, yes. It is pretty dope.
It's not too bad. It's got some fucking ups and downs for sure, but, you know, there's some really cool shit out there too. Some innovators.
It almost feels weird to say, but yeah, I've had a pretty cool year.
It's been a fucking roller coaster.
I kind of like it. I don't know. I kind of like life when it's like on the edge. It's kind of fun.
As much as I'm always like, I don't want to, that's when like I'm on it for some reason. I like to push that line to see like, where is that line? Sometimes you need to be reminded of that,
Yeah, it's like we were playing life on intermediate mode, and then someone was like, yeah, let's play in expert mode. And it's like, whoa. It's kind of fun.
We're going in Fortnite at the height of it. Like, fuck, dude, it's not even fun. Shit'll get you on your game.
Yeah, you gotta get on your game. Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, I'm gonna practice.
You better sit forward in your seat and grab your controller and be like, all right, fuck, crack your fingers a little bit. Be like,
a little Adderall.
It's 2020, man. I gotta fucking stay alive in this shit. Gotta fucking. This is it, man.
Hey, you need that little fucking kick in the ass every now and then.
Yeah.
As much as it sucks, Nobody likes getting their ass kicked, but you probably come out a better person.
It's really whack. Time of crisis is apparently a time of opportunity too. So people have been
crushing it.
People have been trying to monopolize on the pain.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. God damn, man, people are in a lot of pain, and you are so focused on your own, just what you care about. You don't give a fuck who that hurts, even though people are already so vulnerable. It's fucked up, man.
It's fucked up, man.
It's a lot of it though, This is like, you're trying to take advantage of this time, but also build something meaningful. There's a lot of people that are just scamming people left and right there's so many desperate people. There's the easiest people to scam. Obviously scammers are always going to do that shit, but this is how I wish more people did it. And there's always going to be fucked up people, that take advantage of whatever situation. But I don't know, shit like this is really fucking cool. I need to do this shit more.
It's cool. It's so cool.
It's crazy.
It's so cool to think even one person would just sit and listen to this whole conversation.
Yeah. Because there's been so many different paths we've taken, like trying to like come back to something like, wait, we had some going there.
It almost takes courage to start a podcast because it's kind of egotistical to be like, I think people should listen to me talk.
I'm smart.
So you got to be a little bit fucking, I don't know, dude. You got to have some balls, I guess, basically. I don't know how else to say it.
It's true, though.
If you do it, man, it's so fun. It's so rewarding and fun, and like it's a good time.
It definitely pushes you the whole time. You can really get into it at times, but there's always that back of your mind of like, am I making sense? Am I still on track with what I'm saying? Am I going on a tangent here? That awareness is always kind of just a little reminder there, But it's cool because it's such a different experience. We're just talking, but it's definitely not just me and you fucking zoned out talking,
No.
With like fucking Netflix on or some shit.
Bro, it's taking so much for me to focus right now. Like I would just have totally zoned out. Probably.
Dude, you've been going since fucking, I don't know how you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
This is my third podcast of the day for those who are probably getting this in a different time interval.
We don't know when this is going to ever reach anybody. To whoever you are, whenever this is, hope we're still here.
Bro, so far, I think we're staying within the bounds of like, I would be okay with putting this out.
We haven't said anything super crazy.
Yeah, it's been going good.
I can say some wacky shit. You know what I'm saying? I've looked back over the years and been like, I believe that?
Yeah. We're still holding back like 10% insanity.
There's always that like, oh, I kind of like this. This is good content, but like, don't want to push that a little bit,
This is like what a comedy podcast is, right?
This is literally what fucking Joe does all day.
They just literally sit around and shit talk. Like,
it's so cool.
All the Andrew Schultz podcasts, I think he's hilarious. He's funny, but they just sit around and they pull out social media and they're like, yo, did you hear this shit's crazy? And they're just like, oh my God.
That's whack as fuck.
And they just have opinions on like Twitter. They don't tweet, but I'm saying they just look at like Twitter and things
like, what's
that.
What's
and
the
then
headline
they just
today?
They just talk shit about it. They just talk mad shit and make fun of people.
Dude, Andrew just shits on fucking everybody.
Yeah, that dude, man, that dude's got some balls, dude. I'm surprised that dude hasn't gotten canceled. I think he's proof that cancel culture is kind of leaving people like him alone now.
He sticks to his guns about it because he calls out cancel culture and he's like, listen, you can't, like, comedy can't be cancel culture. You can't have the two, and he's fucking hilarious. He says some crazy shit sometimes, but he tries to be pretty reasonable about things, you know, for the most part. It's not like he's spouting stupid, hateful shit all the time.
Bro, that's why podcasters and specifically podcaster comedians are the new rock stars, dude. Because as long as you title yourself a comedian, it has like basically the word satire attached to your name. Don't take me seriously. I'm a comedian.
I'm just going to say stupid shit.
Exactly.
You're going to laugh maybe. Just think I'm stupid, but you're going to watch it.
It almost gives you a free pass for saying anything, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm a comedian. It was a joke. Like,
it was for the joke, man.
Yeah.
That's really, what Andrew always does. It's like, it's just a joke.
It's really fucking genius, man.
That's why I love Andrew, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan's comedy. They always drop a little bit of truth in there, and they say some vulgar ass shit sometimes, but it's so fucking funny that you're like, it's not even like, why would I get mad about that? You know, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
maybe a little fucked up, but like, it was funny.
It was funny as fuck, dude.
You know what Blake always says? You gotta find comedy in the tragedy. I remember when he told me that, and at first I was just like, I mean, but there's some things that are just like serious and they hurt, you know? But you have to have that, because sometimes life gets so hard that if you don't have that kind of softer, funner side, it's like, oh, that's too much. I ain't ready for all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having like a nervous twitch. You just roll over from like the sadness to laughing at it, because like, what else can you possibly do?
Exactly. That's the only reaction you can have at that moment.
Yeah. Your
brain's just like, nope, shutting down.
Your brain's like, yeah, those two buttons must be close together, because like depressed, this is hilarious. Like they're like
right next. The same thing. I don't know with anything anymore.
On your like frequently used emojis, there's one that just means depressed, and the other one means that's so fucking funny. I'm fucking depressed.
If I don't laugh about it, I'm
depressed. LOL, depressed.
Haha. Oh, wow.
My existence is meaningless. LOL.
Shit.
It's so weird too. We're just aggressively trying to leave a video behind and live longer than we were really on this earth. We're just overwhelmed by the fact that we're dying. I'll just make a videos on myself and live forever in the video land.
Maybe this will do something for somebody, I hope.
A weird, sad way of trying to extend your life. It might go on for 100 or even 1,000 years, but like more than likely, evolution's later.
Shit changes
no one's
so
gonna
fast.
be watching your YouTube videos.
It's so true, though. Everybody's trying to do something to live on forever. It's like whether that's, you know, getting a statue in your name, a fucking school dorm in your, whatever it is. Everybody's working super hard to have that legacy, you know? But history changes so fast. And then you go through different fucking cycles of shit where it's just completely revolutionized. That old shit's not even close to relevant anymore, you know? We're all just specks in the dust.
Yeah, dude, it's really, really weird that Kanye said this. A lot of people have said this in the past year, that it is like the end of Rome out here. And guess what happened? The last time Rome ended, paradigm shift. Jesus came right then.
All right. Everything you just said reminded me of when I first started opening my third eye and all that shit. That's what I was reading and learning and visualizing. I remember learning about that Christ consciousness, that's what enlightenment was called to different people, embodying just that all loving, just like we are all one, let's fucking respect each other. You know, just a simple, that karma rule, the golden rule. But I mean, it goes back to that hive mind of why would we not do this? We're the same fucking person. He realized it, you know? He was, and I'm sure many people have throughout history, but he was one that they're like, oh, this guy gets it. Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's crazy what you said. Like, we're the same fucking person. Just made me realize, like, whoa, we're kind of just one entity talking to itself, recording itself for other entities.
Weird. I remember so many moments throughout that whole kind of journey of going through that where I would realize that we're all connected and watch how people interacted with each other, realizing that they don't realize that. and
Yeah.
the way that they would treat each other, I'm like, I could feel that difference, and it was like, dude, why are you treating yourself like that? Do you not feel this connection? You know, it's so weird because once you see it, it's like, oh, of course, fucking makes sense. We all feel it, but when you don't feel it, that's your fucking reality. There's no outside of that. You know, you're in that fucking dark. Fucking Papadosio, Titios, you know, that's what we're going through, that whole awakening.
It is. It's like we're all just little receptors. Imagine like you have a problem in your body, you're sick, and like all your immune cells are like, they figure out you're sick, right? Or whatever. Imagine how does that happen? Like one tells the other, like, you're sick, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe one of them gets on a podcast and is like, yo, what's up, everybody? We're sick, you know. Head over here or whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe we're all just little like receptors who are like doing podcasts and having conversations and tweeting or whatever, and we're just like, hey man, here's the news. I'm filling you in.
I'm letting you know.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And we're just like, okay. We're getting closer to the point where we're on the same page, but it's not misinformation. We're kind of like
so much because
who are we voting for? I don't know. What should we do? I mean, what is democracy a good idea anymore? I don't know. I think democracy is a bad idea. I don't know what to do about it. Okay, pass it along to your next friend. We're just all like,
do you know? Because we need to talk. I need to figure this shit out. We got to figure this shit out.
I know. And that dude Kanye, he knows.
He fucking knows, dude.
I can't not bring him up. I keep trying not to. It's too hard, dude.
You know we're going to.
Because that dude knows, man.
He knows some shit,
That dude feels it. Maybe he hit enlightenment. Damn. Maybe he's the first one.
He might have.
I think he did.
But he also...
I think he did in this moment. Like...
You could definitely see him figuring some shit out as he's talking.
I think the Joe Rogan, like, this podcast was in the midst of Kanye, like, reaching it.
Maybe
it's fucking, well, that was intense.
So like I was looking at that, and there was so many moments where he was in his light. He was in that, you know what I'm saying? He was embodying all of Kanye. And then there's moments where he's kind of doubting himself, a little bit nervous. But I guess maybe that's what enlightenment is. You're not ever fully perfect at everything. You're still gonna have your flaws. You just don't give a fuck. You know, it's you completely aware of that. He feels that nervous tension. He knows that. But he's like, I'm fucking Kanye. You know, I may be a human. I go through some crazy shit. I say some crazy shit. But like, he knows who he is. You know that saying, like, know thyself? He's aware of that shit.
Dude, I think he's always known it. But I think that literally no one yet has ever truly sat down and listened to him. Think about all the other people in his life. They're not equipped, like Kim and all these people, they're not equipped to really listen to that.
To understand him and like dissect, be willing to just be patient through all that to find that truth.
It was a defining moment, dude, because fucking Joe, his purpose in life is to listen to people. That's literally what he does. He's like a preacher with an open door. Like he's just like, what's your problem? He takes it in and he just does his best to give out his 2 cents or whatever. And he didn't talk at all.
That's dude. No, he spoke maybe 5 minutes in the whole hour and 45 that we watched. That is the best thing he could have. He handled that like a fucking Mike Tyson war. Like, dude, he just took it all in. I couldn't. We turned it off. I could not do that.
He went for 2 more hours and just Kanye to the brain. Dude, you look at him. He looks like a fucking sick dog. He's like.
He would just drop something so heavy and stare at Joe like through his fucking soul. Like, you fucking heard me. He's like, I fucking heard you, Kanye. Don't you worry.
I think Kanye like converted Joe to whatever religion he just started, dude. I'm not kidding.
What if
Joe was like the first disciple. He's like, I understand. Everyone's like, oh, Joe gets shit.
I would join.
Joe is sitting there. He's like, you have the best brain out of all the brains. And I have talked to all the brains. I've spent my whole life talking to all the other brains.
Every brain. Cover them.
You are the best one. I don't know what we should do about it. Basically, his only 2 cents was, do not give this man medication. Let this man do his thing. Do not stop this man.
See, but that's so interesting to what we were talking about earlier with, is medication necessary?
Yeah, that's
He's fucking like, I don't know. But that's why it's hard to answer those questions about, you know, specific things, because everything's so ambiguous. He's a perfect example of medication's gonna fuck him, but somebody else could go fucking crazy on a manic episode. You know, he just happens to be creative enough to turn that what would drive somebody else insane into beautiful art, you know, which is why he's a fucking genius. He probably goes through some shit.
Bro, what really got me, there's a lot of moments in there where I'm still trying to parse out what he means and says, but one moment that really turned me on was he was like, this is the end of Rome, blah, 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 all that stuff about this is the end of Rome. And then he was like, we need to stop competing with each other and we need to compete against Rome, against the ancient Egyptians, against past civilizations. We need to come together as a civilization and fucking be the best.
Fix that shit.
Be the best one ever. Like, you know, it was like, oh my God, dude.
He's like, whoa.
Those are like paradigm shift words.
That's what we have to do, though. Like you saying, got to be kings. You always hear that with when people talk about honoring ancient cultures and stuff. We're all kings and queens, you know. He feels and embodies that, and I feel like people think he's egotistical because he's so proud of being him. He's so in love with that, but he just knows who he is. We should all just know who we are, because we all have some gift like that, you know, whatever that may be. But he just knows it. We all need to find that, you know. It's not that he can be a little egotistical, but I think he just feels something that is a potential within everybody, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no. He says that he ignites your inner genius. He's he's like the fuel of the fire, you know. It's kind of scary because he's kind of trying to be like a Hitler type character where he's like global unification type of shit, but also he's doing it through like ideas, not through violence. So
gotta get
it's really intense to try to be that way.
I know what you mean though. When you were saying that, I was thinking about there's so much potential with that uniting, and like that's what we have to do, but there's also that fear in me of that cult mentality, and how quickly that can happen, because we've seen it with so many good potential movements. It so quickly turns into that.
It always starts that way, right?
Fucking hippie movement started off so good.
That's so true.
And Charles Manson came around, fucked that shit up. Yeah, that could be a fucking rabbit hole in itself. Damn, been podcasting for almost 12 hours.
It's been like a marathon, dude. I've been like deprived because like I don't know anyone in Tampa, so I was doing this all the time, and then it was a month and a half of silence.
It's like, what do I do?
I did 2 alone solo podcasts. Oh, that's like
I feel like that's brutal because you're just like, I do all the entertaining. Nobody's bouncing ideas.
For a solo episode, you really got to prepare. I just decided to read a book, but you got to like do some research and present something to people. Or just rant, but that's just kind of random.
I mean, people do that shit. That's what blows my mind. People literally just sit down and record themselves ranting for 10 minutes and just get millions of views. I remember my mom used to always tell me, can't make money off video games. She was always like, no, you gotta do your homework. Video games are a waste of time. Now I'm like, dude, I can make $1 million streaming if I just put more time into it. God damn it, Mom.
When I was talking about going further into the internet to do podcasts, I totally forgot streaming is even one step further, basically. You're just there with them.
Dude, I love streaming. It's my favorite, to be honest. When I'm DJing, I'm just going to play whatever, see what happens. There's no pressure because it's like, it's my channel. I can build that fan base that actually genuinely likes what I like. Like, that's what's cool. The internet gives you that possibility of, if you really care about something and you have any sort of skill in it, or you want to learn that skill, you can fucking do it and just put it out on the internet. And all of a sudden, people are like, oh, that's fucking cool. You know, that person's doing some dope shit.
Yo, I just had a really good podcast idea. Interview people while you stream playing a video game, and then do the podcast. Shit. And then put the podcast up as a podcast platform.
That would be sick.
But you got to play like simpler video games so you could talk. And then, but you also should like seek out experts. Don't just be like have fun. Be like, okay, you got to talk about psychology or like
be in the conversation.
Yeah, have an intellectual subject. Maybe
that would be
like
sick.
like a doctor on, or like people who are intellectuals and all at the same time play video games. Have that conversation. Stream it on Twitch and then later dump it on Spotify and
cut it up.
And then cut it up. Yeah.
For real, I really like that, because I've been thinking about streaming, playing video games, but trying to like do something like that to add something different. You know, whether that's At first, I was thinking of trying to DJ while playing it and like seeing if I could plan out a whole set, and that was a little tough. It didn't really work out. I was like, this is impossible. But like something like that where I could play such a simple video game to focus on, but still, like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos recently where somebody's just playing either fucking Minecraft or like something I can just look at and just talking about some subject. And it's so simple, but I keep watching them. And it draws me in for some reason. 'Cause I'm like, I like video games and I like learning about some random shit, you know? For some reason, this fits perfectly. You would never think that the two would pair, but there's so many video game players out there, you know, that have such diverse interest in shit. That goes for anything.
Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy how popular streaming got.
So fast, too. I feel like in the past few years, just with podcasting, it was always there and a thing that really big people were doing. Like you would be like the best of the best. But now everyday people are starting to make careers out of that, you know? Which is fucking awesome. The more mediums, the better, you know? To give different artists platform or whatever it is. Which is cool. I think it's just going to keep growing.
Me too. I think lifting, streaming could be a thing. Merge video games with lifting and then stream yourself doing that.
Oh. Wait, what do you mean video games and lifting? Like combining the two?
Like my app, like gamify lifting and then stream it.
Yeah, it keeps you accountable.
And then it just kind of, it's all up on the cloud. Might as well go to the cloud, man. It's the place to be.
We're all going to the cloud soon.
I think people would fuck with streaming themselves lifting. Be kind of creepy almost. People might get like little...
I don't know. People love that shit. I mean, that's basically what Instagram is.
Yeah.
Just videos of people doing, you know.
Yeah, not everyone will be into it, but all those fitness people on Instagram are going to
The fit freaks. They love that shit. That's what Instagram's become. Just fucking yoga booty models just doing simple ass workouts. Just stream that. People love that shit.
What are your predictions?
For streaming or just in general?
It's an open question.
Oof.
That's just no more context.
That's a dangerous path. I don't know, man. I feel like where we're at right now, I just don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 fucking weeks, to be honest. That's going to affect a lot of shit, I feel like.
Oh.
Either way.
By the way, you know, it's crazy. I was thinking about this earlier. This won't get released till after the elections.
Oh, shit.
So anybody who's listening to this, me and Frank are actually in a time period.
Hope we're
Trump
good.
and Biden are still running for president. Apparently so is Kanye, and there has not been a decision made yet.
What if Kanye just wins somehow?
That, I actually don't think it's possible because of the write-in system and all that.
Oh, shit. That could affect where a lot of different things go. But I feel like the actual system isn't going to change that much. Like that's, you know, there is some difference left and the right, but I think in general, it just feeds one kind of purpose. People who feed it pay for it. But I do think a lot of the way that people react to it could affect a lot of shit because people are so pissed on either side. So I just feel like whoever gets elected, somebody's going to be fucking some shit up.
My predictions, which is crazy, we'll see if these hold true, are that whoever wins, there's going to be some sort of riot again.
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I just think that you could see either side rioting at this point because they're like, well, they did it, we did it. Well,
they cheated. Each side setting the other one up to believe that there's some cheating or falsification, which is not good.
No matter which side riots or whatever happens, I'm optimistic about it, but I don't think that these will get out of control. I don't think this will be like downfall of the nation moment. I think that whatever riot it is, it'll get handled because once there's a president named, it'll just be people would accept it, you know?
They're just like, all right, fucking, it's over.
Okay, we accept it. Apparently, if Trump wins, he's going to try to claim that the voting in the mail rigged the election or something. So,
oh, God. He definitely is.
I hope we don't go down that path where he throws a fit and then this gets under investigation and shit and we prolong the process. Hopefully that's not what's happening.
Just building more tension and shit.
But I'm hoping that there will just be an acceptance and everyone will move on and tension will like lower because, okay, it's going to be like this for the next 4 years. Let's just
fucking buckle up and do what we can.
Let's just do it.
Let's just deal with this shit, please. You know, because it sucks. Like I was saying earlier, we can't even have those basic conversations anymore. I mean, we obviously agree on a lot of different things. obviously not everything because nobody agrees on everything, but it's so hard just to sit down with somebody and even talk about anything remotely controversial because there's so much emotion in there. But we need to have those conversations, you know? I feel like getting deep and vulnerable with somebody like that, it reminds you of that human side, finding that connection again. We need to have those raw, genuine conversations. They may be tough and uncomfortable. We're probably going to disagree on a lot of things. And there's so many different opinions out there, but we need to start having actual conversations with each other, regardless of how much difference there is, you know, which is hard. I don't like confrontation. So for me to say that's probably hypocritical as fuck. But I do appreciate uncomfortable, genuine conversations, you know?
Keyword, genuine, yeah.
In good intentions on both sides. Really trying to be like, why do you think like that? I may not agree with it, but like, I want to understand. You probably have some human part of you that is driving that. Maybe you care about something I didn't realize before, you know?
See, I think that the nation is bad, but when you sit down with almost anybody, you are able to come to a point and like, have genuine conversation. All the toxicity on social media and the internet is almost a false reality of we're in crisis. But whenever I do talk to somebody, it's all love.
Seems pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way it's always been, yeah.
Yeah.
But isolation and all that, you know,
It's fucked with us.
it made us only have access to the fake reality where everyone's upset.
Damn, that's so true. I've been seeing this dude tweet about that literally the entire pandemic. Every time he would tweet it, it was because I would just see this constant battle every day, and it would get me super emotional. I just came on here to just see what's going on, and all of a sudden I'm like stressed out and anxious. Like, is the world gonna end? What's going on? And it's like, when you actually talk to people, everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, you're a human being. What's up? We can still be cool. Everything's actually not that bad. But when you're that's the only source you're getting, that's the only input, that's your reality. That's what, those emotions are still real, you know? But that's what I'm afraid of. We're getting so disconnected that not that it can get to like a breaking point of not, but like the further it gets, the harder it is to come back from that, you know? We got to start moving towards that quickly.
I think we will. I think if we every year we're like racing towards where we're going, the pandemic's like, all right, like everyone go like take a break. It's Sunday. If like years were like weeks, this would be like a Sunday. Like go sit by yourself,
chill a little bit,
think about the existential dread that you're gonna die. Sit with your emotions, get upset, go through it all, and then we'll come back and
we'll reset. You know,
I think things will be going better than ever. You know,
honestly, I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's always been that feeling of, yeah, this really sucks. But like every time I have one of those connections, oh, maybe it's not as bad as it felt. Maybe I was so wrapped up in that it felt so real. But then you get that reminder of, oh, there's more than just this, you know? Because that shit fucks with you, man. Just technology in general. You've seen Social Dilemma, right? Makes sense. Shit's fucking with all of us.
Yeah. Social Dilemma was good. I agreed with almost all of it. I do think that it's pretty cool too. It is like addictive and scary and all this shit, but it's like also exactly what we wanted. Like we all fucking wanted this. It's pretty
Deep
fucking
down,
cool.
yeah.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
It was definitely a little doom and gloom in its entirety. It raised a lot of key issues that we need to take care of, but
yeah,
it wasn't as hopeful as I think, you know, a lot of stuff that you've been saying. Like there is this other side to it too.
We just need to have patience with it, I think.
Yes.
It does seem terrible right now, but we're just getting used to this new platform of cyborg living, and it's like, it's gonna be fine. It really is. It's all gonna be good.
I believe that. Technology is evolving so fast that it's so new to us that we're just like, what the fuck? But we adapt. That's how we got this far.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're just going to fucking give up and be like, we're all fucked. We clearly care about this stuff, and all of us collectively, that's what's going to drive us to fix it. We do actually genuinely want to take care of these things, even if it doesn't always seem like it.
Yeah, we'll just use technology to build something to fix the problems that technology causes us to go through.
It's actually, though.
But it'll be fine. We'll fix them. We always fix our problems.
Somehow.
I think we're going to go through a revolution, but more of like a cultural revolution that's fought through ideas online.
Yeah.
I do think it's like war online. Like China, Russia, and America are all at war at the moment through online
social fucking media.
Yeah, they're all manipulating each other's shit and trying to fucking dominate the.
It's crazy.
Like that's what's actually happening.
When I actually think about
it's a world war.
It is though.
We're at a world war right now. Yeah.
We are being. It's like they always say there's an infiltration. It's a psyche, an information, not an attack. It's almost like our psyche's under attack from all this disinformation. You know? It fucks with us. Because when you don't know what the fuck is real, like when I'm believing there's a civil war coming and people are at each other's necks, I believe that. I'm going to make my decisions based off of that.
Yeah.
That's my reality.
You know what's wild too, Frank? Is that they used to fight war on land, right? But now we're fighting it on the internet. And guess what? America dominates basically the global culture. You know, the rest of the world kind of looks up to us as an entertainment instrument. And so
It's true.
This data warfare, actually, it's taking place on our homeland. Everyone's trying to manipulate American media, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And American people, China, Russia, and America are all fighting that war on home ground Americans.
It's all an attack on us.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that makes so
and
much
the United
sense.
States government is at war too, but they don't even have our best interests. They're just like doing their own.
We're just trying to survive on our own over here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It is, though. We've all kind of grown into our own, like, we got to fucking protect ourselves, our own little tribe, you know? Because we're in survival instincts.
Like, especially with COVID. Remember we looked back on the 2016 election and we were like, this is how they use bots and all these things. COVID, it was like every company's plan to spread like disinformation about what was going on and get people confused and turn you this way and then that way and then be like, well, you know.
Like, my bad.
It was definitely a war over.
Oh, 100%.
Over the way that story got told.
I remember scrolling down my feed and seeing the same video with multiple different headings in different contexts, phrased in different ways. You can literally chop up one 10-minute video and have 3 different agendas in there. You could cut out all that context and it looks like it's agreeing exactly with what you're trying to put out there, you know, because that context makes it so it's not what you think he's saying. Context is fucking important. If you're just getting a 10-second clip of something that was much deeper, it's just going to and we're already looking for things that reinforce our biases. And if it's already giving it to us, like, yeah, that's what's happening. That's the truth. But it was just a fucking lie. They just cut up a little bit of it and made it seem like the truth.
Yeah. And it pulls people into echo chambers, like you were saying. They want to see what they want to see. Anywhere you can find the information that you want it to be, essentially.
Yep. We're all guilty, you know? You have to be really intentional not to. You have to really try to be like, all right, I want to see all sides. Even if it might upset me, it might get me riled up, I need that opinion, you know?
You know what it is, Frank? You were saying that our psyches are under attack, right? And I was saying that, like, we're kind of like cyborgs already with this second brain, this phone. Our information is under attack, so that's why, and this is like part of our psyche now, so that's why our psyche feels, it's like a mind attack. We're getting like mind attacked.
Oh, shit.
That's bad, dude.
See, that scares me even more for like some Neuralink shit. What if the wrong person has control of that? And if that's even a thing, I don't know, but
it's not even like one enemy. There's so many stakeholders in the game, global governments, companies like Facebook and Google and Neuralink.
But the stakes are so high at this point. You know, everybody has to get their bottom line because it's fucking do or die.
Do you think someone's going to come out on top?
I don't know. Through it all?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody can for it to sustain.
Well, what else would stop the war? We all just come to like an agreement? I doubt it.
That doesn't seem anywhere in at least like the near distant future.
Because the effects of doing this are not like the nuclear bomb. It's not like instant, like, that was really bad.
It's a slow, gradual.
Everyone was like, let's not do that again. This is like, oh, who knows what the long-term effects of like doing this will be. I guess we'll find out slowly over time. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay, like, hey guys, down here on the ground, like, this is really exhausting. Like, I
It's
can't figure out
actually
what's
really bad.
It's really hard to figure out what's going on in life.
We're a little confused down here. Anybody want to help?
I think and I pray that after the election it'll die down. There might be something else at that point, but like I hope it'll.
I hope so, man.
Just give us a year off.
Please. I just hope we can take a fucking collective breather and be like, yo, we've been through some shit. Mm-hmm. You know, somehow we're all still here. That's really fucking cool. Let's just like figure this shit out, you know? I know there's a lot of tension between a lot of people. It sounds nice on paper. Obviously, it's nowhere near that fucking simple. You know, life's fucking complicated. There's a lot of processes that have to change in order to get to that place. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is kind of going through that shadow. It's going to be painful. Change is hard. The shift from fossil fuels to sustainable energy. A lot of people are going to lose jobs. A lot of companies are going to go down. But to survive, we have to do that. We're in that process now, I think. And anybody who can figure out that innovation for the future, I think that's who's going to be on top. Like an Elon or a Kanye. So
I think that we need to essentially have like a startup culture, like a mentality. And it's almost like we were a ship and it's going to be rough, but every man swim for himself. Real quick. Everyone basically become a content creator, become an internet personality, become a streamer, become a podcaster, become a something, and just go online, have a skill. We're all going to be like merchants, and we're going to like subscribe to your OnlyFans and pay for your podcast and do the Patreon account over here and get the ad revenue right here. And we're just going to have to dissemble, because when AI takes over, what will we be able to, they'll take all the jobs. Listen, they'll take all the jobs, and then what are we supposed to do? We can't add any value to the AI because they're smarter than us. But we can add value to each other. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing. So that's what we got to start to do. How can I add value to someone, a group of people or something?
I see what you're saying.
Kayla talks about nutrition to people. They get happy. They pay for your psychology classes.
That's her gift to everybody else. Everybody has that.
You watch my podcast, the ad revenue goes to me, and it's like everyone's just like, okay, help. The economy will be in the cloud, I guess. We won't be.
Shit.
But that's where
I could see that. I definitely see that shift happening.
I think if you just do universal basic income, it'll just be like that. Everyone will just quit their jobs, and then everyone will just find a way to make money online. And then all these systems, Bezos will just manage 1 billion like robots. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll all just fucking pay for each other's YouTube pages or whatever it is, platform that you're on. There's
just so many opportunities that it's almost impossible for that not to happen. Mm-hmm. Just for anybody who wants to do anything to have a platform, if you want to, you know. We're just like, why the fuck not?
That's what we should all do, legitimately. And that's why I say, like, I don't know who's going to come out on top, because it might be the United States government. They just might decide to print that money for us if they're a good government. It might just be someone like Jeff Bezos himself who gets $1 trillion and he's like, all right, I'm just going to fucking give everybody...
It's like, here you go, guys, fine.
$10,000 a year. I'll just deposit it all. Like, I have more money than the whole world could spend for 100 million years.
It's scary.
He just wins and he's like, here you go. And everyone's like, yay, money.
Let's just take it, you peasants. Like, thanks, Jeff.
And that's what we would all do. We would all just find a hobby and just be online content. We'd all just be streaming ourselves playing yo-yos and shit. There'd be like a yo-yo community.
That would be sick. I mean, I think the pandemic's shown that something like that's possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not everybody has to be fully working all the time for everything to function. Mm-hmm. Oh, we can do that? Mm-hmm. Why the fuck don't we do that?
Yeah.
We don't need to just be running around and doing shit just to do shit, you know? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's our problem a lot of times. We feel like we should do something because like, we all have that passion to give back in some way, like you're saying. This is such a good outlet, but if you don't know what that is, you're just shooting at fucking whatever, just hoping it is what it is, but you're just fucking walking blindly, you know. But if we're all doing that, we're all just putting out a bunch of bullshit because nobody knows what the fuck they actually are doing, because everybody's trying to get some stupid ass job, you know. We got to pay bills and shit.
Wait, let's just pause on that for a moment. No one knows what the hell they're actually doing. Yeah, no one knows what they're doing, dude. No one.
Not a goddamn clue.
Not even Joe or Kanye. Not even Trump. Definitely not Trump.
Fuck no. He's probably the least. You want to talk about a man that fucking wings it?
We can't talk about him because in the future, the election...
Instant cancel.
The elections will have already happened, so I don't want to just... I don't even want to mention it.
Who knows what's going to be going on?
I don't know, I don't want to mention it. What would you do if you had money sent to you every month and you could just do whatever?
Honestly, at this point, I probably would finish grad school just because I'm pretty much there. Make a lot of music. I think me and Kayla are probably going to start a podcast now. So that's pretty cool.
Really?
Well, I mean, probably not in the near future, but
at some point?
I mean, this is fucking awesome. She, I think, realized she can do it.
It's a good test run.
Yeah. It's one thing to like imagine it, but to actually do it in that moment of, oh shit, I got to say something that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, you guys should just get married first and then just do it like maybe after you settle down off of that.
Yeah, once we figure out all this shit. I got a lot of shit going on.
Or you could do it now, but it would be dope. I think it would be dope.
It would be amazing.
I've wanted friends who are podcasters. I'll be on your podcast, you be on my podcast. It's just a very giving profession. You're not competitive in it.
We all got to help each other here.
It's a community that I want to get a part of, but also the quickest way to get a part of it is just tell other people in my life to start being a part of it, you know?
Yeah, let's just practice this shit, put some shit out there.
Because I don't have any other podcaster friends. I don't have anyone I could call up and jump on their podcast.
I don't know if I know anybody. I feel like I got to meet more podcaster friends now. We could do some Zoom shit too. But what would you do if you were getting income? How would you spend your day?
I would just ramp up the podcast, find good guests, and pay for things, and keep that going on a very weekly schedule.
Hell yeah.
Which I can kind of do, but it's tough. But I don't know. Whatever money would get me put towards that. And then probably at this point, I wouldn't open the gym. I would invest all of it in smart equipment and try to sell people in-home equipment because I don't trust the brick and mortar gyms anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
unfortunately.
think that I saw the movie theater go like that. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that was...
I don't want to do it ever.
Yeah, nothing, everything you thought was safe and secure for the long run is like, oh, maybe not. I got to really think this shit out. But no, I think that's a definitely a good path to take there.
I'll probably need several years to build out all that equipment and implement it properly.
Yeah, shit takes a long time.
But yeah, I mean, the goal would be to turn that money into more money, you know?
That's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, that fear of people are just going to get super lazy, finding your thing, whatever that is. Because now we have platforms like this where you can turn that into something. I feel like, I mean, a lot of people don't get that break to figure that out, unfortunately. I've been lucky to like, all right, I get to step back and think about what do I care about? You know, what are my passions? A lot of people never really get a chance to think about that. But if we had that sort of thing going where that wasn't as big a stress, I think it would really revolutionize a lot of shit. I don't think we'd all just become super lazy and just be like, fuck it. You know, I don't think money's the only incentive. It is an incentive, but I don't think that's where it ends.
Yeah, no, I would only want to get money to be able to build and do more things.
Exactly.
Money's not the end all be all, but I have more ideas, right? And I would, if I was able to build the smart gym equipment idea, like I would go on it and do the next idea, right? I see what money allows and what money can create, right? I mean, it just takes money to engineer and create things.
Do anything. I feel like grow up with that idea. I want to make an impact on the world, especially our generation. That seems to be a general talk of, I want to do something good. I want to make a change. Whatever that really means. I think we're seeing this type of technology and growing up with, seeing streamers and seeing people make this income on their own, seeing that potential. It's shown us you can find something that you actually enjoy and still survive off of that, You don't have to go work in the fucking coal mines anymore. Like, shit has changed. Which is insane, but we got to get people to take advantage of that more. We got to give them that chance to do it.
I think people will.
I think so too.
I think we'll figure it out. I think people will get their chance. I think it's coming, but like you said, I think there's darker times ahead.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Like I feel it. But if I was to sit here and like visualize that, I could see so many different things playing out, because they're like we were saying, there's so many different things building up that are all kind of impacting each other that could go in so many different really bad directions, but also each one of those could just be okay when you're like, oh, we figured it out, you know? Could figure out climate change, some crazy technology sucks all the CO2 out of the air or something. Like, who fucking knows, you know? But it's definitely gonna be some crazy shit before that.
I have the feeling that the story is going to get a little darker, but also, you know, like sometimes you get a feeling like something bad's going to happen. You're like, am I going to get murdered? And then you like stub your toe and you're like, that's what it was.
Like, that was it, right?
All right, cool. I'm hoping that it's not going to get that much worse. You know, I'm hoping that it's bearable.
I think we know it's going to be painful regardless, but it's just extreme of how bad it gets. There's so many different transitions. There's so many extreme ways that it could get that I don't think are as likely. Like, it could definitely go some crazy paths, but we're at the point where somehow we're going to figure that shit out before it really, really escalates. You know, before it hits that, like, oh, there's no fucking coming back from this shit. That's what we have to get before, you know?
I don't think we're going to hit that point.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
The tensions are high.
Yeah. We're heading down that very fast, but still...
We can dip our toes in.
We're like, oh, that's a fucking fire. I'm going towards it, but I could put it out if I fucking
We're going to
wise up.
Hopefully it's just we're going to walk across the hot coals, right?
Yeah.
Get to the other side.
It's going to hurt. My foot's going to fucking burn. But I'm going to make it. You know, I'm going to come out fucking stronger because of that shit. It's going to hurt. But...
Yeah, I think around like spring 2021... Things will never go back to the same, but I think people will be able to hang out and like have fun, and we'll all live in whatever new version, slightly different version of the way life kind of was, but not quarantine, but effects of COVID are going to affect the
new world.
Maybe we will all finally stop wearing masks.
I hope so.
Well, I think some people will forever wear masks now. By next summer, hopefully a vaccine's out and we can... kind of stop wearing masks if we don't want to.
It's not like a mandatory. I do really feel like that staunts a lot of that connection. It's like not only are we not seeing each other all the time, but when we do, there's so little, I don't know, full facial expressions. You just get so much more from it. You know, when I'm just looking at somebody, like you can get stuff from the eyes, but I don't know, I feel like there's so much more animation in kind of how you say things, you know?
In person, you're saying?
Without a mask, like being able to see the full face. Yeah.
Honestly, the mask created almost an energy that led more into more rioting and like more aggression. You know, I feel like when people rob a bank, they put something over their face. Everyone's kind of already looking like a robber, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of intense, you know?
Everybody's already on edge too, you know? Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, especially with the whole people getting super pissed about masks, which is already starting shit. Like, there's already some fuel there. They were getting super pissed, and they're already mad about the people that are already rioting. So that's clashing on each other. It's just a lot.
It's really weird because this year is like a Black Mirror episode, right?
Yeah.
Start to finish, 2020 is a Black Mirror episode. But here's the crazy part. We all know Black Mirror episode ends, and then we're like, all right, what's the next one? But for this one, for us, life is going to keep going. It's like, what happens after a Black Mirror epidemic? What is life like on the other end? Like,
we've never seen post Black Mirror.
It's going to be like a Black Mirror like season now. It's going to be like a whole continuing story.
Fuck.
And there's a reason they don't go past that point.
We can't imagine it, you know?
It's not even like as important.
Oh God.
I feel like we're living in a history book moment too, right?
100%. I feel like I haven't even processed how much we've gone through in the past few months. When we talk about it, just little bits of it, I'm like, damn, that was all within the past year. So much has happened. I've gone through a bunch.
Yeah. People will talk about 2020 for centuries.
Fucked a lot of shit up. Like, I always kind of felt something was going to hit us. I kind of hoped that COVID was like the shock of like, oh, shit's changing. We got to deal with this before something way worse hit. COVID was like, oh, shit's getting pretty bad. We got to fucking, deal with all this shit. It could have been like some fucking tornado took out California, some crazy shit. Which hopefully that's, not what's going to happen. But I think this is wisening us up to like, oh, there's some shit going on. You know, we really got to deal with this shit. So I hope this was our warning signal and we take that seriously.
Yeah. I hope so, man.
Because it could be, you know, sometimes you just need that fucking wake up call of like, oh, I got to pay attention. Shit. Oh, it's hard.
Bro, it's really weird you said that because that's literally what I was just thinking.
Telepathy.
You were on a tangent and I wasn't paying attention. Then it was my turn to talk. And then you literally said like, oh man, sometimes I'm not thinking. And I like look up from my phone and I'm just like...
It's almost like I saw you feeling that and I was going towards that. And as I was saying it, I was like, wait, that's kind of how he, like I saw he lost it for a second. And then he heard that and was like, oh shit. I felt you be like, wait a second. That was weird.
Dude, it teaches you a lot about like conversation when you do this. Because I listened to this one podcast, Lex Fridman, and one of his guests was like, wow, you use silence to your advantage. He's not like an active... I mean, Joe did that tonight, but interviewers use silence to their advantage. You finish saying something, and then they just look at you, and then you just start saying another thing. You know? It's almost like some sort of mind control, dude.
It is. It's kind of a back and forth game, and if you have the patience and the fucking... If you can hold and just look at somebody, because we all have that urge when there's that silence to be like, I need to fill this in, especially when you're on air. That's like a natural thing, but when you have that second wall there, it's like, oh, I really got to entertain, you know, I got to be on my shit. But if you can master that and withhold that instinct to be like, oh, I got to say something, it just pushes people. That's a skill right there.
Yeah. It's intense. That podcast says equally as much about Joe as it does about Kanye.
Yeah.
Even though one person spoke 98% or 99% of the time.
They both really showed a side of themselves that I don't think a lot of people have seen. I mean, Joe presents that more often, but not to that degree. That was impressive.
They basically just like wrote a book together.
Actually, though.
They essentially wrote a book. Joe was like the editor. Kanye was the author. And
he's just spitballing. He's like, all right, let's revise this a little bit.
And Joe was just like mind control over here, probably like looking at him like, keep going.
I always want to see his facial expression. I'm like,
they kept showing it, and he was just like this. He was like staring at him, trying to like process everything. And he was like, you could see the gears turning, and Kanye would finish, and he'd be like, keep going.
He's like, that wasn't... Yeah, I cannot go anywhere with that. That was too much.
And like Kanye was calling his rants symphonies, and Joe would let him finish every symphony.
Yeah.
And sometimes Joe goes, but he didn't. He did nothing. Like I don't know how he stayed that silent. He was like,
I don't know if I could do that, and I'm a fucking therapist. Like for that long, you know, I'll sit there for a 15-minute session, maybe talk 5 times. He did that for an hour and a half, talked maybe 3 times. That's insane. He's not a fucking therapist. He's just a dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he was, like, professionally trained for that. Like, he's just like, I'm fucking Joe.
He's been trained now.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of practice. He's gotten pretty fucking good at it, too. I think that showcase, he's been building up all these years. That was, like, his moment to be like, look, I can handle Kanye. Nobody can fucking handle Kanye. No
one's channeled it like that.
No, dude, that was insane.
He wrestled with the beat. He wrestled with the Kanye, dude, and he channeled it.
It was honestly a beautiful symphony. There's some dark moments. There's moments where you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
We haven't even finished the symphony.
I know.
Should we just finish it and like stop podcasting?
We've
gone for a while. All right, guys, we're legit gonna go watch that podcast because we've been doing this for 2 hours. I think I'm pleased with where it's at.
That was some good shit. That was awesome.
Peace out. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me, man. That was fucking insane.
Frank,
I'm glad we did that.
You're a funky dude, man. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, support us on Patreon, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download our app on the Apple app and the Google Play Store. Thanks. But for real, I'm not just saying that to say it. Like, actually go do those things, especially the 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Go do it. Come on, go do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it, okay? You can do it.